Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and I'm here with Rebecca Kenyon with her movie Holding Space. Let's take a look at the clip.
I'll just squeeze in here, if I may. Place of death and surroundings.
Here.
Here. So again, this is at the expense of the quality of life. You wouldn't want to receive the life-sustaining treatment,
I see. Yes.
which
no,
is
no,
so
no,
unlikely
I don't
at this
want
point.
Any of the...
No.
Rebecca, thank you for traveling all the way from London to be here today, and congratulations on your film. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
So Holding Space follows three pairs of a doula and a dying person, and it explores the conversations in a sort of vignette style, just dropping in and out of a conversation as someone's dying.
I mean, you're moved obviously instantly because we can't really fathom what would go through one's mind when they are in the latter part of their life, and the fact that they know they're going to die. I mean, it's quite unbelievable. Where did the inspiration come for you to create this particular project?
I think initially I'd had a couple of family members who died, and also a friend who died suddenly in his early 40s, and it led me to want to explore death and become less afraid of it. So that's what I started to do. My way of doing that and exploring the world is by filming, by making documentaries.
Wow.
So that's what I started to do, and then it became a whole other thing when I was asked to become a doula myself.
Wow.
So then I ended up in the film.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it must be quite a powerful thing when you're actually kind of releasing one of your fears through filmmaking. And I think a lot of artists do that. But I can't even imagine, as you as a filmmaker approaching your subjects, like what was your initiation to sort of, find out about these people, and what was kind of their response into, deciding to take part in this project?
I think the people involved really wanted to do so because it's some form of legacy and some way of exploring as we're talking to make sense of what's happening to them, and to leave something behind to help other people, I think, as well. And that's what I was hoping to do as well.
Yeah, and for you personally, like was it quite difficult for you as a filmmaker to sort of, you're literally making a film about people and they're, that are about to pass away and kind of going through their trials and tribulations and leaving their family. Some very heartwarming moments in there. There's also some very great humor from these people as well. What was that experience like for you personally?
Yeah, it sounds like it would be really morbid to explore, but actually we've had real laughs a lot of the time, and I think as a doula and as a filmmaker, people feel comfortable to be able to do that because they're not burdening a family member or a close friend. So we can just talk honestly and matter-of-factly sometimes and just, chat about what's really going on for them.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there must have been sort of certain challenges that you may have faced as a filmmaker. Was there any sort of particular challenges, or was there certain moments where it may have been uncomfortable to film? Was there any moments like that?
I think one of the biggest challenges was when I realised that I'd have to be in the film as well. So I would set the camera up and just have a conversation and hope that it was in focus and framing and that kind of thing. And luckily, most of the time, it did work out. But I wanted to keep that intimate feel, and that's something that I do in all of my films so far. That it's just me and the camera and the person, the contributor. So that's what I wanted to do.
I think again, one of the really interesting things they say is it leaving a kind of a legacy, and obviously one of the things you sort of talked about about understanding your kind of fear of our fear of dying, right, and that kind of feeling. Having made the film, has it kind of made you feel more sort of settled in that experience now? Yeah,
I feel really comfortable around it, and it was only in the last few days with Nigel at the hospice and someone from his family visited, and I realised how uncomfortable some people are, and I'd like the film to kind of open conversations and get people to be a bit less afraid of it by have the film as a starting point and then have a discussion about it, open that dialogue. I feel much more comfortable around it, and I know that it can actually be a pretty beautiful experience in the right environment.
I think one of the hardest things, obviously, that was discussed in the film as well is, I love that bit apart where she's like, oh yeah, my husband's fine, it's the kids I'm worried about, you know. But it's just, it's the kind of leaving people behind, isn't it? And then it's also hard as well for people that are watching their loved ones passing away. How was that experience on the retrospect? Was it hard? Do you find it hard with, you know, kind of the families that were, you know, leaving their loved ones that were about to pass? Was that difficult to kind of film also?
I think it's easier for the person who's dying in a way, because they know what they're getting into. They know that they may not watch the finished film. In most instances they did, and we're really proud of it as well. But yeah, I was really aware of the family and how it would be for them, and particularly children left behind, to have that. But you have that anyway with social media, you know, your digital legacy is there all over now. So
yeah, that's right.
Something to be aware of.
I think one of the most fascinating things I found about watching your film was just the simple fact that they were just like you and I talking right now. You know, they just so happened to know that they were dying, you know, but of course they're going to have moments where it's going to be desperately upsetting, or they're going to be, you know, angry, or they're going to go through emotions. But you know, these people were just going through the motions of life just like we all do every day, except they knew that their lifespan was much shorter. And I think that was really interesting for an audience to kind of capture that, you know, that they weren't this sort of like, they weren't sitting there completely sick in a bed, you know, knowing their day is going to pass away, you know.
That was really important to me. And just by witnessing the journey, that, I hate that word, it's cliche, isn't it? But the sort of breakdown of ego that happens, and the letting go of all kinds of areas of life, you know. Sometimes people are clinging on to their work, or wanting to go on a last holiday, and that's great, but sometimes it's time to let go. And that's what I witnessed as we made the film.
Yeah, well, I think it worked amazingly well. What's it been like for you bringing that film in front of an audience, like NewFilmmakers LA? What's that experience been like? Because, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You start watching your film and it's like got you straight away. What's it been like for you?
It's been a fantastic experience, and I've been really fortunate to be able to travel around and actually follow on the legacy of the people involved in the film, because they all love to travel, and they'd get a real kick out of the fact that I'm doing this. Yeah, it's had a really good response so far, and I love that people laugh at things like you say, like you know, her very matter-of-fact nature of saying that she doesn't mind leaving her husband behind, where of course she does, but you know, it's just that dark humour. I think it's a particularly British thing, maybe as well,
we're terrible.
to be like that.
It's very true. It's very. I saw. Definitely, I saw that.
But I think it's a way in. It's more accessible.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's next for you?
I'm wondering about making a longer version of the film. I've got a lot more footage, obviously, that couldn't go in. I'm also making a film about a steam fair in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Carter's Steam Fair, following their families. So I travelled around with them. It was quite a while ago now, but I haven't had time to edit, so now I will.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, quite a few things going on.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I mean, certainly both those projects sound very good, and I think, you know, certainly that experience of people that are passing away, we're all going to go through it, and I think, you know, your film almost holds a very therapeutic perspective for all of us, that one day we'll have to go through that, and I think that makes it a very important film. So thank you for sharing. My fear of it is certainly decreased after watching your film, so certainly appreciate that. So thank you, Rebecca, for being here all the way from London to be here today with us. So thank you very much. I hope
it's a more gentle way in, and a kind of more fun, accessible way in. It's nothing scary, and even if you've been through a recent bereavement, it's not going to be too difficult to watch it, but hopefully moving.
Holding space, everybody, you got to see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.